I like to dedicate this to all of the Creator's righteous children. I have some food in my bag for you. Not that edible food, the food you eat. No, I have some food for thought. Since knowledge is infinite, it has infinitely fell on me.
Hello YouTube, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be about Dear White People, the series. Now, I just finished watching it on Netflix. They have one season up, and I will say you don't have to technically have watched the movie to understand the TV show, because they kind of do a recap throughout the show, kind of telling you like what happened in the actual movie, and a lot of the show actually is the movie but just expands on it a little bit. So basically, Dear White People, the movie and TV show, is centered around a fake Ivy League college, and basically it revolves around the black students at a Ivy League college and how they are treated in modern day. And so basically it starts off where the movie left off, which was a group of white students started a Blackface Party on campus. And of course they all dress up terribly as black people because, you know, stereotypes. But anyways, they dress up as black people and they have grape soda and they're drinking scissor and they have terrible trap music on and it's ridiculous, and they think they're Bob Marley and Nicki Minaj, and I could go on forever. There was one girl, she even had on some Ankh earrings, and I wanted to go in there and snatch them off her face. I mean, seriously, don't mess with Ankh. Y'all don't even know what the Ankh really means, so I'm just gonna not even go there. But anyways, I continue. So anyways, so they start this party, and there's this kid named Lionel, and I'll talk more about him later. But basically, he goes and he gets the Black Student Union and some other groups on campus, and he goes to this party and he basically tears it down. And he's like, nah, fool, we ain't having this on campus. Like, get your life. And so basically, then Troy, who is the dean's son, basically ends up telling his dad, the cops get called, blah, 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 blah. Cut to the series. So the series basically picks up right after that. And this is when, so there's this girl, her name is Sam, and basically where Dear White People comes in is that Sam has this radio show on campus where she talks to people, basically the white students, and it's like a radio show where she has a segment called Dear White People, and basically she'll just be like, Dear White People, diversity doesn't mean having one black friend or something like that, or Dear White People, something clever about like the N-word or whatever the topic was of that episode. So there's Sam, and she's half black, half Jewish, and so she's part of the Black Student Union, and everybody calls her woke, right? She is so fight the power, and she tries to rock her natural hair even though she's half black and white, so she doesn't really have like afro material hair, so like she tries really hard, but it's okay. And then so she's like woke, she's like the woke kid on campus, right? And then there's this other kid named Troy, and he's the dean's son, and basically he's being manipulated by his father because he can't stand up to his father, because his father wants him to be like Mr. Ivy League and wants him to do everything that he tells him to do, and basically is his puppet. Then you have Lionel, and Lionel is a gay journalism student on campus, and basically he wants really bad to be able to fit in with like the black kids. But he also has a crush on Troy, who is his roommate, and a lot of things conspire because of that and whatever. And he's very conflicted when it comes to his journalism, because on the one hand he really wants to get good at his journalism and like, you know, do a lot of like great articles and stuff on that, but on the other hand he's black, you know, he's black, so he wants to stick up for his black student to tell the truth, you know what I mean? And so it's hard for him to like, you know, whatever. Then you have this girl named Coco. And poor Coco. She came from the south side of Chicago. And basically, when she was in elementary school, or middle school, or high school, I don't really know, she got put into this prep school by scholarship. And so that was the whole reason why she ended up going to this Ivy League school. And she wants nothing more than to be white. Now, I feel like she doesn't really want to be white, but she wants to be white in the terms that she just wants to have a good life. And there's a lot of times during the show where you'll see where her black card shines really, really, really far. But then there's other times where you see where she just really wants to blend in with white people. But it's like, she knows that she's black. Like, she grew up in the south side of Chicago. She knows she's black. And there's even one scene where she reminds everybody that she grew up in the south side of Chicago, so she's seen her family members and friends die at the hands of guns and gun violence, right? So it's not like it's something that's just like a new phenomenon for her like the rest of the people on campus, right? So she's like, you know, she's pretty woke, but at the same time, she wants to fit in with white people because she wants to have a better life for herself than what she was dealt her whole life, right? And so these 4 students are basically, well, actually 5, because you have Reggie, who is he's woke like Sam. And so basically he was the male counterpart of Sam because they're both like woke, so they're like the 2 woke kids in the BSU. And so he has a big crush on Sam, and Sam actually has a white bae. His name is Gabe, and because she's so woke and has this whole persona of being so woke, it doesn't always work to her favor, because when she introduces white bae or when all of her people in the BSU find out that she has a white bae, they kind of scorn her for it at first. And especially Reggie, because he has a huge crush on her, but also because they are 2 woke people, right? And they're fight the power and black power and all of that. And, you know, they would have been part of the Black Panthers back in the day. Like, they're that woke. And so it's like a shock to him when they find out that she has a white bae. But also, another incident happens with Reggie during the show where they're at a party and one of the students there, they're singing a song, you know, they're drunk, whatever, they're at a college party, whatever. And there's a scene where this kid, he's like, they're singing a rap song, whatever, and this kid ends up saying the N-word, and he's a white kid, of course. So he ends up saying the N-word, and Reggie tells him that it's not cool, don't say that word, just like bleep it out of your, just like say the lyrics, but bleep that out. And so the kid goes on and on about how he's not racist and all these different things and blah, blah, blah. And basically they're just the black kids are like, we're not calling you racist, just don't say the word. And so this whole big thing pursues out of it, which was lame. And so the cops end up getting called, and basically Reggie ends up being held at gunpoint because cops are like this, and it really gets on my nerves. They come into something that they're not even privy to. They say they've been hearing a lot of complaints, so they automatically think it was the black kids. Then they ask you to take something out of your pocket, like your ID or something. And when you don't comply because you're nervous, because you're like, well, I don't want to, something could happen to me. You've seen it happen a million times, something could happen to me. And it's scary, right? So then you're like, I'm not gonna take out my stuff, I don't trust you. They think that because you're not gonna take out your ID, that they have to point a gun at you, because it's that serious, because it's that serious, and it's not. It's never that serious. It's not ever that serious. But yeah, so that was like traumatizing for him, and so then a bunch of other things pursue because of that, and I'm not gonna give away everything because I don't want, you know, spoilers, but basically in the end of the season 1, I would say that majority of what happened throughout the series actually doesn't get resolved, sadly, because they're leading up to season 2, of course, but also because, you know. So, do I think this series is a good series? I do. I think it's good. I mean, I especially think because a lot of white people who are open to watching this, because when Dear White People, the trailer first came out, right? It got a lot of hate from racists. A lot of hate. They basically thought that it was a show that was basically just gonna be like, dear white people, y'all are racist and y'all ruined our lives, and slavery and this one and colonization and Native Americans and blah blah blah. But really, it's a show that's supposed to be a satire on what's going on college campuses and in the world. So when a lot of liberal white people started watching the show, I thought it was a good teaching moment for them. For black people, it's a good show. Definitely, I definitely recommend checking it out. But it's also not really teaching us anything that we don't already know and are seeing ourselves daily from just being black. Like, just being black, just like, it's just a representation of what we see or are privy to every single day of our lives. No matter if we live in a urban setting, a suburban setting, I can guarantee you that at least one character from that show resonates with you. Like, for me, personally, I can relate to Sam on some levels. I can relate to Sam's best friend on some levels. I can also relate to Lionel on some levels. Not the gay part, but other parts of him I can relate to. Introvertism, I can definitely relate to that. And the journalism part, because I love writing. And, you know, I can relate to certain characters for certain things that they are. And so I feel like for black people, that's a cool thing. And also just having black programming, because that's important for us, because representation matters. But I also think this is a really good show for white people and other people of color to watch, because there's lots of people that just don't understand, like, why we are what we are, how mad we really are, and why we get angry about these things, and why this stuff is important, and why we keep honing on and on and on about it all the time. Like, people just don't get it. And so I feel like it's a good teaching moment for them more than it really is for us, because we know all this stuff. We deal with it 24/7. It's just being black in America. But for them, I feel like it's a good series for them to watch, to really learn about what we go through on a daily basis, because it's rough out there in these streets, and, well, it's not looking like it's going to get any better, because President Cheeto ruins our lives every single day. But then again, we can't really blame it on him. We can just blame it on the patriarchy and, you know, America, and, you know, the fakeness that is fake, that is this country. So, yeah. But, yeah, I definitely recommend checking it out if you want to. I mean, bootleg it if you want to. If you have Netflix, watch it. I mean, it's cool, whatever. Watch the original movie. I think the original movie was actually better than the series. But, I mean, I do appreciate the series a lot. So yeah, I just wanted to give my 2 cents on this series. If you're looking for something that is super duper deep and woke, it's probably not the best series for you. I'm just gonna say that. This is kind of like, you know, teaching. This is like a good show that if it wasn't for like all the like sex in there and like the fact that they said the N-word all the time, it would, I mean, you could show it in probably college campuses, and maybe not high school, but you could show it in college campuses. It would be a good like analysis to have in like a history class, or like, I don't know, some film class or journalism class or whatever. It'd be a good show to show kids, you know, about like what's going on in this country. But I don't think you could show it to like any younger generation, especially in school, so that sucks. But it is a good teaching tool, so if you're open for it, go out and watch it. I think it's a good series for that, and yeah, hopefully you'll check it out and check out the movie, and yeah, that's just my 2 cents. So until next time, my peoples, stay woke. Peace and blessings.
there is a war going on for your mind. Media mavens mount surgical strikes from trapper-keeper collages and online magazine racks. CoverGirl cutouts throw up pop-up ads infecting victims with silicone shrapnel. Worldwide passenger pigeons deployed paratroopers.